on, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wait. So, just to give a quick update before I get into some of this stuff that was shared yesterday. Hey, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, share this video, get it out there. Please share the video. Please share the video. I need your help. Yes, I need your help. Share this video. So, just a quick update. The shutdown took place last night. The government was shut down. Right now, the politicians are on Capitol Hill trying to negotiate how to open up the government. And I believe the reason why they are doing this now, Schumer and the rest of them, because they know I guess they figured out after the fact that President Trump will be able to remove programs related and associated to the Democrats. And because President Trump will be able to do that, he'll be able to eliminate stuff and they won't be able to reverse it. Because when the government is shut down, President Trump is still president. And so these Democrats, they shot themselves in the foot. And they kept trying to say, oh, if the government shuts down, it's going to be the fault of the Republicans. It's going to be their fault. This is Schumer's shutdown. 100%. And another thing it made me think about, when President Trump was telling people not to take certain things, certain things like Tylenol, what was really disturbing is that people were taking it in large quantity, right? And just because President Trump told someone not to do something, these liberals went out and did it more. Just to say President Trump was wrong. Just to say President Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. And apparently he knew what he was talking about, and they were doing it anyways. This is part of the reason why I'm wondering why President Trump hasn't come out and endorsed breathing air. I'm just saying, I encourage everyone to breathe fresh air. I encourage everybody to do it. But for some reason, President Trump has not come out and told everyone to go out and breathe fresh air, take really big, deep breath of fresh air. He hasn't done that yet. I'm kind of looking forward to President Trump doing that. But in the meantime, the reason why, just to be clear, the reason why the Democrats shut the government down, Chuck Schumer, is because they have to go against President Trump no matter what, at all costs. Go against President Trump. Doesn't matter. Just go against him. Doesn't matter what President Trump, if President Trump tells everyone to drink at least one glass of water a day, they won't do it. They won't do it. If President Trump came out and told people to drink, to breathe air, like I mentioned a second ago, they'll try to work out something where you don't have to breathe air. I'm just telling you, this is the way the left is. President Trump says America first. The Democrats say America last. You understand? President Trump says America first, and the Democrats come out and say America last. I don't know why they're so caught up and so bent up of going against President Trump on every single thing on the planet. Every single thing. It doesn't matter what it is. If President Trump endorsed it, the Democrats will be against it. So last night, just to be clear again here, the Democrats shut the government down. And now they're all out here trying to act like they're the ones that's going to fight for it. We're going to go back in and save the day. This is what they're doing right now. So now they're on Capitol Hill acting like they're there to save the day. We're back. We're going to save the day. We're going to stop the mean Republicans from preventing non-American citizens from getting health care. And that's what all this is really about. See, the Democrats, they wanted to reinstate NPR. NPR. Why in the world is any federal U.S. government funding a media outlet? Well, we got to tell people about emergencies. Well, Johnson, Well, Johnson, people need to know about emergencies. Well, guess what? We don't need NPR. NPR is left-leaning. The Democrats are fighting for NPR because they know NPR has been used for the DNC to push propaganda onto the American people. And they're like, oh my goodness, they're taking away everything from us. This should go away. Now, I'm okay with the government opening back up, but I think President Trump should take this opportunity to kind of just double down just a little bit here and say, no, you know what? You shut it down, Chuck Schumer, Democrats. Since you shut the government down, since I am the president, let's do a reevaluation on the federal government. Let's look at the waste and fraud that's been put in place. Let's look to see what we can cut that is not even needed. Now we have the opportunity to do it. Because see, when the government is open, they got to fund all this stuff. You got to push that. You got to push this. We need money for this. We need money for that. When the government is open, you can't, shut stuff down unless they find something that's just blatantly like USAID. But then when you shut the government down, they end up finding other things. They end up finding other items. They start saying, oh, look what we have here. The government shut down. We don't actually need this. We don't need that. And a lot of these government programs that's been in place for many, many years, apparently, allegedly, been funding the DNC. This is how the Democrats have been getting most of their funding, apparently. And now that the cat is out the bag about all of that, the Democrats are furious. This is the reason why they were doubling down. They want to get the illegal aliens to get health care. And they'll come out and they'll tell you, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. But we need to get 4 million plus people, and they call them American citizens, to get health care. We want you to give them health care, give their health care back. Who are these so-called American citizens? See, Democrats, they call them American citizens because they brought them in for the purpose of becoming Democrats. That's the reason why they did it. And really get me really quick here, NPR. I mean, NPR, left-leaning NPR. In that case, you might as well go ahead and start funding CNN. Right? The federal government, fund CNN, MSDNC. All of these news, so-called news outlets, talk shows, maybe the federal government should just fund all of them. Every last one of them that's against America, right? We just fund all of them. Filter Dog, thank you so much for those red pills. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Filter Dog, for those red pills. Thank you so much. Unpeeled.net. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. Okay, let me get with this one clip here. And this is Chuck Schumer trying to convince everybody that he's fighting for the American people, and he's not. Come on. And oh yeah, did y'all see the title of my show here? Did y'all see the title here? Did you know that the United States of America does not negotiate with terrorists? I mean, you can't make it up. Just know. You know what? Here's another thing too. I'm so happy that Mike Johnson and Thune in the Senate. I'm so glad that the Republicans finally getting a backbone and saying no to the Democrats. See, any other time they would cave in to the Democrats, and it would just irk me to no end. I'm like, why are you caving in to them? Stop caving in to the Democrats. Well, the Republicans are in such a good position right now. They didn't have to cave in, because a lot of times if they didn't cave in, it would look bad on them. And the Democrats would always work it to where it would look bad on them. And the Democrats thought they had him again. That's the reason why they went along with the shutdown. The Democrats wanted to shut down. Well, the GOP said, we're not negotiating. We're not going to allow you to give American resources, our tax dollars, to people that came into the country unlawfully. Have you ever heard this little expression, crime does not pay? See, the Democrats don't understand that concept. They don't. For them, crime does pay because they've been doing a lot of criminal activity and they've been getting a lot of payment from it, USAID, a lot of payment from it. So they don't have any issues paying criminals or doing criminal activity and getting paid. Look, it is what it is. Well, listen to Shucky Ducky Schumer as he's on here basically crying. They're going to shut it down. Is this on them? They're going to own this. No, you're actually owning it. You're going to have to own it because this is going to work out for the benefit of the GOP, for the American people. It really is. And I like it.
Here
we go.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. And I'm proud to be joined by my colleagues, Senators Durbin, Murray, and Klobuchar. So we see now Republicans are plunging America into a shutdown, rejecting bipartisan talks, pushing a partisan bill, and risking America's health care, worst of all. A few moments ago, Republicans once again rejected Democrats' proposals to avoid a shutdown, fix health care premiums, and spare Americans the calamity of skyrocketing through the roof health care costs. Republicans blocked it again, once again.
You hear this? I mean, the level of lies. The level of lies, and rumor has it that Chuck Schumer caved in to the radical left is the reason why he did this. He knew that it was going to hurt them, but he was more afraid of the radical left than the other results.
So now 2 times, Republicans have failed to get enough votes to avoid a shutdown. They've got to sit down and negotiate with Democrats to come to a bill that both parties can support.
I already told you, the United States of America does not negotiate with terrorists.
They didn't do that in the past. Their bill, they call it clean. We call it totally partisan. There was no input from Democrats. Not a single line in their bill had input from Democrats. They never consulted us. Thune didn't consult me. Johnson didn't consult Hakeem.
You know how many times they've done that in the past? They told the Republicans, we're not going to talk to you. This is what we're going to do. We're in control. You either go along with it or we're going to make you look bad. You have to go along with it. It's our way, no way, or the highway. That's exactly what they said in the past. They've done it multiple times. And everything that Chuck Schumer and all of them wanted, and they actually, you know what? Chuck Schumer just lied again. They just sat down with them yesterday. Actually, the day before yesterday, they just sat down with these tyrants. Because J.D. Vance came out and was even talking about it. He was just talking about it last month, 2 days ago. He said, we just sat down with them, but they want funding for illegals. They want to fund all of these leftist woke programs that the American people are saying no to. We can't do it. No more. Chuck Schumer is lying through his teeth, but most people don't know it.
Bottom line is that we had a partisan bill. You don't pass partisan bills, CR. When I was majority leader, we passed 13 of these bills, not one shutdown. You want to know why?
Because the Republicans knew that the Democrats were going to use it against them, and they were not in the position of doing so at the time. And I wanted them to shut it down. I didn't want the Republicans to cave in with them. But this time, the Republicans had all the cards. Why do you think that the Democrats are saying, okay, let's come back, let's do it now, before President Trump starts making decisions on locking everything down? And oh yeah, really quick. See, the Republicans knew that if they would have done the shutdown with Joe Biden in office, man, that auto pen would have been destroying everything. And the Republicans knew this. And now it makes complete sense. See, the Republicans didn't say anything during that time that, hey, if we do this, that would mean that the auto pen will be able to get rid of any programs. They will be able to cut the military down to 25%. They will be able to get rid of anything that is actually benefiting the American people. They can actually get rid of 75% of the Border Patrol agents if we shut it down. But see, they didn't come out and say that. And good for them for not saying that. President Trump said it just yesterday before the shutdown came, that if you do this, if they do this, it's going to open it up for us to actually look at some of the programs that are happening in the United States of America, and we will be able to just make changes, and the Democrats will not be able to reverse it. And I'm like listening to this, and I'm like, are the Democrats listening to what President Trump is saying? Are the Democrats listening? And I don't think they were listening. They don't look. First of all, the Democrats don't want to hear President Trump's voice. They don't want to hear anything President Trump has to say. So President Trump said the quiet part out loud, and they still went along with it. They still went along with it.
It's because we negotiated with them.
Again.
They didn't.
Again, we don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
And that's why they have failed now twice. Now, why do we care so much about them negotiating with us? It's not a point of pride. It's because Americans are hurting.
But you're not trying to help Americans. Low information voter believes that the Democrat Party is fighting for them when they're not even fighting for them at all. They're not fighting for American citizens. They're fighting for these illegals that they brought into the country. That's the reason why they didn't get it. That's the reason why they shut it down. Give us what we want. Everything that you've undone. I'm telling you, listen to me. They're saying everything that you have undone by taking money from the DNC, USAID, taking money from other programs, closing these programs that's hurting the DNC, the Democrat Party, because you're doing all of this. We want you to reinstate it or we're going to shut it down. And they're saying, no, we're not doing that. NPR should not be getting funded by the federal government. They're left-leaning. They're totally left-leaning.
With higher costs throughout the country, some of its tariffs, some of its energy costs, some of its food costs. But one of the main reasons, and the one with the most immediate impact on raising Americans' costs, is skyrocketing costs of health care. All done by the Republicans.
All done by the Republicans. So President Trump in his meeting just yesterday, he was talking about how they're going to bring the cost of prescription drugs down and how this is going to help the health care in the United States of America, how it's going to benefit the American people. But again, they don't ever go and listen to anything that President Trump has to say. If President Trump is talking about something, they don't want to hear it. Now, how the Democrats constantly trying to say that this is going to hurt the Republicans, is backfiring on them. Even Abby, this nasty woman, even Abby on CNN talking to Hakeem Jeffries saying, how are you going to get out of this? How are you going to work your way out of this? She's trying to give them the hint. Like, look, if y'all go through with this, it's not going to be good for the Democrats. CNN is another media outlet specifically for Democrats. And she's trying to give him the hint, but he doubles down. Talking about pride. Listen.
But what is the exit strategy here from a shutdown? Because once the government is shut down, which it will be in 2 hours, how do you get out of this? There's one Democrat who told CNN there is no way to play this shutdown game and win. And Democrats know that because Republicans, for the last several shutdowns, have been the ones playing this game. So how are you going to get out of it if we are in a shutdown?
How are you going to get out of it, Hakeem? See, she's even saying it right there. Other Democrats saying, look, this is not going to be good for us. It's not going to be good for us. But because of TDS, they caved in and say, nope, we don't care. We don't care. We got to get Trump. Stop Trump at all costs. Stop him, stop him, stop him.
Again, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
In terms of the Republican perspective, but Republicans have been lecturing America all year that they control the government and that they're jamming their policy preferences down the throats of the American people. So how is it the case that at this particular moment in time, they're suddenly at the mercy of Democrats who are in the minority in the House or in the Senate when Donald Trump has consistently behaving like he's all powerful?
But that's not, look, I don't really, Abby's a nasty woman. And look, that's not the question she was asking. She wasn't asking you who's in control. She wasn't asking you who's leading in the House, who's leading in the Senate. That's not the question. She was asking you, is it good to shut the government down, being the Democrat? She's throwing you some biscuits. She's throwing you, look, it's because of their pride. And because of TDS, nothing else matters. Only thing matters to them is TDS. They've got to stop Trump. That's the only thing that's going through their mind. Now, I want to play for you what President Trump was saying. And he let the cat out the bag. President Trump straight up let the cat out the bag. President Trump told these people what he's going to be able to do if they shut the government down. It was to their interest not to shut it down. But no. TDS kicked in. They still did it anyways because Trump bad. Got to stop Trump. Listen to Trump here again. He told them, but they were not listening.
What can you say about the state of the Democrat Party when they have a 33% favorability rating on average in recent months, and they're willing to shut down the government over health care?
They are shutting it down. We're not shutting it down. We don't want it to shut down because we have the greatest period of time ever. I told you, we have $17 trillion being invested. So the last person that wants it shut down is us. Now, with that being said, we can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse.
Right there. And all President Trump has to do is go look at all of the programs associated with these Democrats, and then he can start saying, find the fraud and waste and shut it down. And they won't be able to do anything about it. And I believe that's the only reason why they're back up on Capitol Hill right now. Let's get it back in here before President Trump sees anything. He's already taken so much from us.
And, we're cutting that. But they want to have illegal aliens come into our country and get massive health care.
There it is.
At the cost to everybody else. And we don't have it. And that's, I would say, the number one reason that they want to strike is to get illegal immigrants health care. And, Gavin Newsom wants that, too, in California, and it's destroying California. We can't have that. We're not going to let it happen.
It's destroying California, and we can't allow it to happen. We can't allow it to happen. So I have a special guest on with me to talk about this shutdown, and I just really want to know. See, I'm not the expert in this, so I love talking to the experts about the shutdown and about all of this is happening. So this young man that I have coming on, his name is Hunter. And we're going to talk to Hunter about this shutdown. He's the CEO of his company. Sir, thank you so much for joining me.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So they're back up on Capitol Hill trying to prevent the shutdown from going another hour. Do you think they're going to get it to go through? And do you think that this was beneficial to the Democrats at all to do the shutdown last night?
Well, no. I mean, look, it's crybaby Schumer, right? Because he doesn't get his way. So he goes into the Oval Office and pounds his hands on the ground because he's not getting his way, right? And because these people are disgusting. This shutdown is proof that Washington is addicted to crisis governing. They always want to say it's a problem. You know, Americans deserve stability, not midnight panic votes, right? We've had enough of this nonsense. And at the end of the day, if we ran a business like Congress runs a budget, we'd be bankrupt before breakfast. We absolutely can afford all this stuff. And because Trump is like, look, why are we going to be spending our money, you know, taking care of people that are here illegally? Why aren't we taking care of our veterans or the American people first? What happened to the American first agenda? It's like they always want to help everybody else, but when it comes down to we, the taxpayer, me, the business owner, me, the employer, or me, the American family man, they want to penalize us. And so they go and they shut down the government. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So crybaby Schumer, 100%. Did he do this because of AOC, the squad, the radical left pushing him to do this? Or did he do this because he wanted to fight Trump? And or is it just TDS all the way around?
I believe it's TDS all the way around. I mean, we can define it. Listen, Will, we can define it any way we want, right? But every time that there's a shutdown, we've seen this in history. Every time there's a shutdown, Democrats cry wolf about keeping the lights on. Okay,
right,
but
right.
the proof is the lights. But the truth is, the only lights that they're worried about are the agencies that waste your taxpaying dollars.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes.
Every single time, it's always something that affects us. So whether it's from AOC, who's deranged, whether it's from Schumer, who's deranged, and everybody else on the Democrat side that's deranged, right? I'm sick and tired of this mediocrity in Washington, to where if they don't get their way, they go cry. Like a government shutdown. Although I will say, if we want to look at America first, a government that governs the best is the government which governs the least. If we just kind of shut down the whole government, I'd be okay with it, right? Protect our borders, and I'm happy. Get the government out of my way, right?
Yes.
You know, so in one aspect that's good, but this is just, it's fodder for television. I mean, look, you and I are here talking about it. This is what these Democrats don't understand. Trump is trying to govern. We've got wars all over the world. We have problems with rising inflation. We've got housing that's an issue. We've got now coming out saying that Cook is not going to be able, they're not going to fire her. I mean, it's just all this nonsense that's going on in government, and we're sitting here crying because we can't fund health care for people that are here illegally. I mean, have we lost our minds?
100%. It is for healthcare for illegals that are here in this country, came here, broke the law, and the Democrats are fighting for them. They have demonstrated that they do not care for the American people. I mean, they're willing to go and shut the government down to fight for non-American citizens. Why is that not a wake-up call for most people? Why are most people saying, wait a minute, I voted for you because I am your constituent. You're supposed to be doing the will of the people, we the people, the American people, but they're not doing that. They're doing just the opposite. They're so bitter that last 10 years, all they've been doing is trying to figure out how to stop Trump, how to get Trump, how to prevent him from making this country great. That's the only thing that they've been working on. I can't tell you a single thing that they've done. And you're 100% spot on. They love crisis. I've yet to see them do a single thing that I can come on there and say, well, you know, at least the Democrats have done this. At least they've done that. I don't have anything, nothing. Everything that they've done has been against America. Why do you think that is the case? Why? And we all see it. They have to know that we're seeing it, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the problem is a lot of the people that are in this country, and why the Democrats love them so much, these illegals, is because it changes the demographic of America. They're doing calls to prayer now in Michigan, I believe. Right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
so our
New York,
New York with I'm not even going to say his name because I can't pronounce it. Right? You know, I want like John. Give me some American names. You know, my name's Hunter. Right? That's an American name. That I would vote for mayor of. Right? But Allahumma whatever. We're losing the identity of what it is to be Americans. Right?
Yes.
These countries are being destroyed. These Democrats bring in the open borders during the Obama and Biden administration, rampant immigration, and they're the ones that end up voting because it's the Democrats are known for just having pork barrel spending of just giving. It's the welfare state. And when you put yourself in a welfare state, why work? It's the definition of average. Okay. It's like, where do you think the saying comes from? It's good enough for government work. right? I mean, have you been to a DMV? This is how inefficient government is. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the Democrats are good at doing one thing. They're good at doing one thing: crying and complaining and stealing from the American taxpayer. You've got congressmen out there, and I know this is a big rant, but it's important. Think about it. You have people in the Oval Office that are now highlighting how much Nancy Pelosi is making with her trades, with insider trading, right? One of the top performing people on Wall Street is Nancy Pelosi, and she was an elected member of Congress. This is a type of corruption, bureaucracy, red tape. And so they'll shut down the government. They'll cry because, oh, I want to get it my way, my way, my way. And these Democrats have no idea. They've never had jobs. They've never built an enterprise. Their literal job, think about this, Will, their literal job is to go onto the floor, scream and make a speech, and press a button that says yes, no, or defer. Think about it. That's what they're
it's funny, but not funny. No, because you're so spot on. You're so spot on. That's exactly what it is. Just give me, what button do I push? And they'll even come out and ask you, what button do I need to push again? Because they'll forget, say, and there's only three options.
Yeah, hey, by the way, FYI, XYZ PAC just donated to you, and they want you to vote this way on this bill. Not what my constituents think. Not about the fact that it's, hurting middle class families that are trying to, afford food because food prices are through the roof or gas is through the roof. No, let's not care about that. Let's make sure that we put our money to foreign wars. Okay, things that are anti-American, things that go against what our constitutional republic was set up to be. Let's go against the small business owner. Let's outsource all of our jobs to China, right? Let's get into massive trade. I mean, this is disgusting. I'd like to sit down with every single one of these Democrat representatives and say, are you out of your damn mind?
Yeah. But
how does it help? Because listen, you live in this country too. You're a Democrat and you live in this country. I understand that you may be elected member of Congress, but you're running around with armed security guards. You're going to take away my Second Amendment rights, and you're going to take away my health care, and you're going to take away all this other stuff. Oh, but it's okay. You're an elected member of Congress. You walk on the holy ground.
You know what, Hunter? You are so spot on. And I've wondered the same thing. Are they actually really true Americans? I mean, what am I missing here? They live in the country like you and I. We're Americans. Now, to my understanding, we're supposed to be on the same team. We can have our disputes and, disagreements about a few things, but it always should be America first. It always should be our families first. Now, we're a caring nation. We love to help other nations. No problem there. But when we have issues in our own home, we should address those issues first. We can't expect to fix someone else's issues when we got major issues of our own. I mean, we need to address this, but the Democrats, they put America last. And I think they do this because President Trump constantly will say America first, America first. And I'm just looking for the day for President Trump to come out and say, I'm endorsing everybody to breathe air.
Yeah.
Go outside and breathe air.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Will, it comes down to what is your definition of America, right? Is it home of the free because of the brave? If you believe that, good. Are you patriotic? Are you patriotic enough that you bleed on the flag to make sure the stripes stay red? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you could say. And I fundamentally believe, right, without becoming an isolationist, because I travel all around the world, right? I meet with different cultures and I appreciate all of that. But I'm an American first and foremost, right? And even Trump respects different cultures. Look at who he's married to, right? Yeah. So when you look at these things, you have to fundamentally ask yourself a question. As we talk about a government shutdown, who does it help, right? Who does it help and who does it hurt? These are the fundamental questions we have to ask. Unfortunately, these journalists, or if I would even call them journalists, these talking heads, they're not asking the real question. They're not looking and having an introspective conversation with themselves and saying, what does this do for the American people? I'm okay with aid, but if my kid's sick, right, I'm making sure I take my kid to the doctor. Not, oh, let me go help little Johnny, the neighbor's kid, right? You have to fix yourself first.
Yes.
I've always said this is, a dear congressman friend of mine, Republican congressman from Michigan, said to me one time, he says, Hunter, first you learn, then you earn, and then you serve, right? Because I can't help people, right, if we're not in a position that we're taking care of to help other people, right? Newt Gingrich, when he was running for president, this was many, many years ago, who's running for president. He had a very, very good quote. He says, I want to help every student out there or every person out there, help them get a job, learn the job, and then one day own the job. Okay? That's strong middle America upward mobility. And as you said, it's okay that we have people on the right and the people on the left. Our system of governance was set up by our founding fathers for this exact thing. It's dialogue, it's conversation, it's real conversations, having those hard decisions. I don't want to see a person that's being neglected if they're from another country. We want to help, right? But not at the detriment of our own country, right? Not at the detriment of the weakening of our military. And all of these things, these Democrats, it goes into gay marriage, it goes into all of these other things, you know, women and men, or men and women's sports, trans in the military. None of these things fundamentally help, right? Strengthen the core of America.
Nothing.
So when we have events like this take place, I sit back and I'm just saying, you know what? It's very simple. The definition of politics is the root word poly, which means many, and ticks, which are blood-sucking leeches. And that's what they're doing right now, is they're being blood-sucking leeches.
I love it. Oh, I'm going to remember that. Oh, my goodness. I love it. So let me ask you, what do you think is going to happen now? Because like I mentioned, and you're aware of, that they're on Capitol Hill right now. And I think the last time I looked, they were taking roll call, you know, see who was there. And
yeah, I mean,
so what do you think is going to happen? What's the next step?
Well, next step obviously is there's going to be a vote, right? I mean, logically, there has to be a vote. The outcome of that vote, I don't know. I'm going to see what the betting markets look like when we're done here. If we look at Polymart and see what we think, is the government going to turn on, or is it going to stay shut off? But listen, I think Trump, you know, from a leadership perspective, is holding his ground. He's like, look, guys, I'm not budging for this. If you want to shut it down, go whine and complain, do it. But I'm not doing this. I'm trying to make America first decisions, right?
Yes.
And healthcare for, you know, people that are here illegally. And I'm not talking about people that are here illegally in the sense of they're going through the legal immigration system, right, to try to be here legally, right? Whether it's for jobs or marriage or whatever it may be, right? I'm talking about the ones that snuck across the borders, that are in these cities, that are hunting down and killing people like we're seeing all over. Those are the people that he's saying, look, we're not supporting these people, right? We want nothing to do with them. They need to get out. And I've always said we should just have an immigration moratorium, right? Shut the border down. He did it with China. You know, we've done it before. Remember the Muslim ban?
Yeah.
You know, This is a Muslim ban.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a Muslim ban. It was a travel ban, right?
It was a travel ban. Yep.
Stop. We're not doing this.
Exactly.
So I think logically they're going to have a vote. Do I think they'll turn the government back on? I do believe. I'm looking at the markets. The markets are up. So for me, I think the smart Americans are looking about, oh, well, let's see the government shut up. I'm going to go about my day. I still got to pay my bills, you know.
Well, how long would, you know, because I was actually having a conversation with a gentleman this morning, and he was wondering how long before we notice that the government is shut down. Because, you know, most people in the government in all these positions that we never even hear of, they're not even doing any work. They're not doing anything. They're just collecting a paycheck. We're paying them to do nothing. He was telling me that he had a family member that would go Monday through Friday and do absolutely nothing, just watch soaps. And then on the weekend would actually go in the office just so they can add that to their pension when they would get done, that they were working on the weekend.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's the definition of crony capitalism, right? I mean, these people go in, it's fake, and listen, I'm working on a new book, right? And it's literally called The War on Average, right? And because this is what these people
Put it
do.
up again.
It's not done yet. It's a working title.
Oh, okay.
Title. You know, it's working, but it's basically my argument is that it's total complacency. These people are taking advantage of a system. Think about that. They are stealing. As a business owner, if someone comes in and they're just, you know, being mediocrity, we call it quiet quitting. You've heard this term, quiet quitting. I'm doing the bare minimum, right? I'm showing up. It's the participation trophy, which in this case, it's a participation paycheck, right? Hey, congratulations. You walked through the door and you sat down at your desk. You took your lunch break and you went home. You did no work. I mean, they're robbing from think about that. They are robbing from the American people. And by the way, shame on all those people that do that. You know, shame on you. Shame on you if you're watching this program and that's you. If you're just going through life as like, you know, Dilbert from, you know, the comic book and doing nothing in your office and you work for the government, shame on you.
Yep, I 100% agree. Now, to my understanding, there's been one Democrat that's actually voted for the CR last night. And to my understanding, that is John Fetterman. I want to, if you can, if you have the time, I want to play what John Fetterman had to say last night about this.
Hi, this evening, I just voted for 2 CRs tonight. And the first one votes to affirm that we would like to extend the ACA tax credits because, of course, I voted for health care. The second vote is about making sure that we keep our government open. And I did vote for that because I think it's a sad event if we shut our government down later today. So for me, our nation doesn't believe that kinds of chaos. Now, for me, it's about more over the country, not the party in this kinds of moments just like this.
At least there's one.
Well, look, I mean, the problem with the Democrats is they always want to have their cake and eat it too. And in these scenarios, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So I understand exactly where he's coming from. At least he's being honest, saying, yeah, I like, the Affordable Care Act or whatever it is. I voted for it. So at least he's being honest there. So we can say, okay, thank you for being honest. And then 2, it's like, okay, but the reality is yes, I voted for this, but no, I don't think we should shut down the government. It's not fair to the American people. And I think he's right. I mean, that's just from a logical standpoint. But when they go in and they say, if I don't get this, right, then.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Give me what I want. Give me what I want.
And that's exactly right. And that's a fundamental problem in our democratic system is the fact that, and look, we have tools in place, like filibuster rule and all of these other things that if you want to stop something or you don't like something or, whatever it is, we've got tools in place. But the problem is we live in such a politicized world that we want to play the blame game. And the Democrats want to blame that, oh, Trump, you don't care. Oh, Trump, you don't care. And it goes into this Trump derangement syndrome. And it's like, look, if you're really, and take Trump out of it, right? Even if you take Trump out of it, take the White House out of it, take Congress out of it, go to the American people, ask yourself when you sit down at the dinner table tonight, do you think that we should prioritize healthcare before yourself? If you get sick, and then there's a guy from Somalia here, okay, that's here illegally, that crossed the border illegally, that's committed 10 crimes and 4 felonies, right, and gets out of jail, and you get rejected at the hospital, but he gets accepted at the hospital, I'd like you to think about that. How would that make you feel? Right? Because it's not like Trump, when Trump first came down the escalators, he said they're bringing drugs, they're bringing guns, they're rapists. Yeah. And some, I assume, are good people.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Now, I have friends that are here legally, right? That come here from other parts of the country or other parts of the world, and they're here and they're good, members of society. And then there are people here that aren't, which we see weekly on the news, stabbings, all this other stuff that goes on.
Oh, my goodness.
Everything that goes on. And yet here we have a government, members of Congress that are actively acting against the benefits and the interest of the American taxpayer or the American citizen.
So let me, really quick, and thank you so much for taking your time to come on with me and have this discussion. Anytime. Is it the Democrats that are going to, because if they pass this bill today, the Republicans finally getting a backbone, a spine, right? Both in the House and the Senate, finally getting a backbone. This would mean, I believe, that the Democrats, if they go ahead and pass the CR today, that because they'll do this because they realize how bad this is going to hurt them going into the midterm elections. And I think they're probably going to they'll probably say that this is not the battle that we want to fight right now. We need to allow this one to go on and probably do the next one. Because I think the next budget bill comes up in November, if I'm not mistaken. So I think I'm suspecting that they're going to go ahead and do it today, even though they're not going to get what they want. They're going to do it today in the hopes that people will forget it and they'll save it when they get closer to the election. Am I off there, or what do you think?
No, I would concur. I would say that, for the sake of conversation, I think that that's a level-headed,
we're talking about Democrats now.
Yeah, I think it's a level-headed response, right?
Right. Yeah.
In time of chaos, and so I think when we look at the entire kind of geopolitical world, why the shutdown, and is this really the reason? Are they using that as a talking point? Or is there stuff happening behind the scenes? Because what I fear, and with any of these bills, and I'm a vivacious reader, so even it's hard for me to get through some of these bills, right? And when people like Nancy Pelosi say, "Oh, well, we have to pass it to see what's in it," that's the problem for me, because I want to see who benefits. I want to see who benefits monetarily from this. So I'm looking at, what are the trades going on? Who does this benefit? What Democrats are trying to do behind the scenes, negotiation with money, because at the end of the day, it's always follow the money. Someone is trying to benefit from this, whether it's government contracts, whether it's, healthcare. We just saw Trump, in the Oval Office talking about, what's going on with Pfizer, and what they're going to be doing from a healthcare related standpoint for drug lowering costs. So there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. And until we really see how this plays out, live commentating right now, it's speculation. So what we're doing is we're strategically speculating on how we think, the headless chickens in Washington are going to be running around, right? So
it is swamp creatures. Yeah, 100%.
That's exactly right. So let's see. I mean, we do see the Republicans fighting hard, but you're right. I think from a long-term, analysis, the Democrats cannot afford to go into the midterms in a weakening position. And so by doing something like this, that shows that they're in a weak position, or else their narrative or their wording is off. And they think that trying to say, hey, listen, feel bad for the illegals, right? And the healthcare system. I don't think that's the argument that they should be going into. In fact, I think what the Democrats should be doing is they should be going back to their districts, finding out the real problems in their districts from their constituents, and say, oh, guess what? Our narrative isn't working anymore. We're losing jobs. We're losing all manufacturing. We're losing all this. Hey, maybe we should be the party of the people, right? And it's not that I'm going to say, hey, go be a Democrat, right? But, if I had a Democrat congressman at least listen to me as a business owner and said, hey, this does not help me, right? And I'm a huge employer in your state, right? You need to think twice on this, right?
Yeah.
And so we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but conversations are definitely happening. And I mean, look, it's political theater. It's a political circus. We're watching what's going on. And at the end of the day, if they do open the government, I think Trump needs to double down and hit him even harder.
I completely agree. Hunter, thank you so much for taking the time, come on here with me and having this discussion. And, hopefully this will just crush the Democrats even more. Me personally, I want them to go away. They're like 33%. And I'm hoping that this just brings them down to, negative 33%. Works for me because they're not doing anything beneficial to this country. So tell everyone how they can find out more information about you and connect with you.
You can follow me on X at Hunter Gaylor. That's the best place to go. You can also go to my website, spencerbrewer.com, marketbridgeadvisors.com, find information to get in touch with me. And and my YouTube channel at Markets Hunter.
Awesome. Sir, thank you so much again.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Will.
Absolutely. God bless. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah, go check him out. Hunter. You got to go check him out. Awesome information. On fire for this country. Okay, everybody. Now, look. Things are moving really fast. And again, I think that the Democrats they're going to say, okay. Hopefully that the American people will forget this, get ahead of this before the damage is done, before there's really true damage. But I think it's already done. And this just goes to show how much the Democrats do not like this country. They want to destroy it. If you would, please go to my website, uniteamericanfirst.com. Support me, support my work. I need your help. To keep the lights on. uniteamericanfirst.com. Support me. Oh, I got my new t-shirt out there. Can I show y'all my new t-shirt? I've been telling people that I'm gonna have this new one because there's another event getting ready to come up that the left is getting ready to have. And I ordered mine yesterday, and hopefully it will be here before the 17th, because there's a liberal event that's going to take place on the 18th. So if you come here to my website and you click on shop merch, you can see my new t-shirt right there. Let me click on it. Right there. Jesus is King. Jesus is King. And it says, and Trump is our president, right below it. Is that I like the simplicity, right? I like to keep it clean, right? kind of neat. And the Jesus is King look, it kind of looked like it. I put a texture on it to make it look a little rough, like it's going through something, you know. Jesus is King. So I've ordered mine yesterday. Hopefully it'll be here before the 17th so I can wear it on the 18th for the No Kings event that the liberals are having. So if you want to pick up one, and I chose a different material on this one because I like that, you know, here in Texas it gets really hot. So different material. So if you want to support me, get one of these, uniteamericafirst.com, click on shop merch and you'll be able to see it. It should be the very first one you see when it comes up. Right. I mean, and it's a sharp looking shirt, right? Jesus is King. And right below it, and Trump is our president. Gotta put it in there. I was thinking, should I just put it in there? No, I gotta put it in there. Because there could be no other time like this. No other time like this. So, uniteamericafirst.com, everyone. Go check it out. Think about it. Get it for a gift even. Someone that you know that won't have it or would love to have one. Bless them with one. All right, everybody, that is it for me. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here, for participating. I know we had the guests on here. And again, wow, we got some more donations on redpill.net. There's the balloons right there. And I didn't see any on YouTube. And I'll look on Rumble really quick. I didn't see any on Rumble, but nonetheless, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. All right, everybody. God bless. Take care. I will see you in 1 hour from now on Culture Wars. I'm going to have some more explosive stuff, and I'm pretty sure we'll know the dealio when it comes to this budget. And again, the American people, the United States of America, we don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm just saying. It's a known thing. God bless. See you in 1 hour.